So I was on Facebook, and you know how they have the little notes by your bubble face or your stories or whatever. And someone had a note, someone I don't know, but I guess we're friends on Facebook, or he was showing up on my list. And it said, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And it goes away after 24 hours. And I responded to him, but I didn't save the actual message note that I was responding to. But it only allows you for like a sentence. And it just said, nobody cares. I don't think anybody cares. And it was on that gist. So I responded to him, and let me know what you guys think. I just responded. I didn't want to keep it long, but I just said, time for new people, your people, finding the people that match your energy, match your goals, your interests, match the best version of the highest quality version of yourself. Those are your people that are going to light up your life. Those are the people that are going to that are going to have you feeling loved and supported and challenged in the best way. When you find your tribe, you will never feel like nobody cares again. So that was my message to him. And then he responded. And the reason why I'm making a video on this is because I actually wanted to respond in a video because I needed to post some content. And I was going to post a little mini series that I have coming up. But in the meantime, I said, let me go ahead and post this because I feel like this is really important. I feel like the nobody cares thing is so popular. And I don't mean popular in a fun way. I mean like popular in the sense that that's how a lot of people feel, especially guys. But I do think, like, generally speaking, most people are in the wrong circles. So people end up feeling that way. They feel alone. They don't have anybody. People don't care because they're in the wrong circles. So he responded back to me basically telling him that he needs to find his people so he won't feel that way anymore. And he said, I've been searching for decades. They keep dying on me, or I like them or something. Nobody can stand me. My energy is being corrupted. My peace is being violated. I need help, but nobody seems to be able to. I wish in a sense that all that crap I went through those years ago, I wish all of that could have been on a reality show, because if people could have been a fly on the wall, I feel like nobody would ever have these problems again. Just saying, because they would all learn from me, hopefully. It's kind of like, I've never been into alcohol. I've never been into, drinking and stuff. First, it just doesn't taste good, but that's just not my jam. And when someone asks me about, how come I don't drink and this, and that, whatever and stuff. And, I hate having to go through the whole, I just don't want to, because then they go through a whole like, oh, did you used to have a problem, or say something crazy or stupid. But I would just be like, listen, I don't need to drink and then, go drunk driving, hit somebody and kill somebody to know that I don't want to do it. I can learn from somebody else's mistakes. So hopefully this can help people that are in it. And hopefully this might help you to help other people who may get in it or feel it later at some point, kind of like a preemptive video. So that's why I wanted to record this on purpose, because I am going to put this on the suicide channel, but I also want to put this on the Eileen on Love channel, even though that one's a little bit more lighter, more fun, more fluffy channel, but just in case you find yourself in the funk. So wherever you find me, here it is. The reason why I wanted to specifically create this video for Adam, I'm going to say your name because you posted it publicly, and I'm not going to share your last name. But I wanted to give you legit, concrete actions that will get you from this place of nobody cares, that people are dying on you, that you like them or you care about them, and it's not being reciprocated back, and you feel like your peace is being violated. I get that, and that's valid. And I can understand where people feel like they don't feel validated because they're waiting for this thing back from this source that they're not going to get it from ever. And the truth is, Adam, you're probably wanting something from people that can't give it to you. You're wanting apples from an orange tree, and it's not going to happen. So the first thing that you got to do, you have to do this, and this will just set your whole trajectory in the right way. You have to grieve the life you thought you were going to have. You have to grieve the life that you thought you were going to have with these people. And it may be everybody. It may be your friends, your family, your networking group, your church, your coworkers. It could be from anywhere. But you have to grieve whatever relationships or whatever outcome from those relationships you thought you were going to have. And that's simply because you're basically, and I want to say this in the kindest way possible, but I learned this from Laura Doyle. She's amazing. When I ended up going through a divorce, my spouse had left me. I took this 6-month course, and she taught me this. And I'm so grateful because it has helped me and my mindset, my emotions, my anxiety. It has helped me 100% since then. When you are wanting something from somebody else, you are on their side of the street. It's controlling. You're wanting somebody to treat you some kind of way. You're wanting somebody to behave or reciprocate your feelings or your gifts or the way you speak to them or your actions. You want something from somebody else. That means that you're being controlling because you're expecting or you're wanting something from somebody else. Now, hear me out on this because I know it sounds a little crazy train because you're like, well, people should just treat each other nice and be respectful and it's not. Yeah, that's all true. But just because somebody's nice and respectful towards you, it does not mean on any level that they're going to reciprocate your feelings or treat you the way that you should be treated on a level of friendship or a level of love or a level of romance. Respect and manners is literally the most bare bottom, basic, just humane way to treat people. So we have to be able to separate those two kind of areas. One is just, you just treat strangers nice. That's just the right thing to do. And the other is, you're building relationships with somebody. You're investing in someone. You don't really invest in strangers. You just treat them well with respect. But when you're dealing with people that you're trying to build relationships with, friendships with, when you're trying to, even your coworkers, like I said, churches, religious groups, hobbies, anywhere you're at, even childhood friends or friends you make as an adult, when you're wanting something from them after you've invested so much of yourself in them, and then you get frustrated or angry or anxious, any type of emotions that are just negative or deteriorating to you and your body and your mindset, there's a way to come out of it. And the first way is having to grieve the fact that you're wanting something from people that they don't have to give you. And that's where your discernment comes in to say, I've shown up like this. You didn't even come meet me where I'm at. You don't deserve me in your life on that level. So either you're going to take a few steps back from my inner circle, or I'm just going to dismiss you from my life completely. And it's not wrong to do that because some people are not meant to be in your life the whole entire time. That's just, the truth. And when you grieve that life you thought you were going to have or that you wanted to have with someone, when you detach from that on a neurological level, you are literally starting to get rid of those negative neurons that are multiplying in your head that are keeping you in that comfort zone of, I know this person, I want this from this person. It should just be easy. Why can't they just do it? But that's all you can do because you still can't make them do it. You still can't make them meet you halfway. So definitely grieving, definitely detaching. Detaching was actually the second thing I was going to say is detaching from the time frame it's going to take for you to get from these people who are not your people. They're not aligned with you on a friendship level, on a loving level, on a whatever that level it is that you are feeling. They're not aligned with you. You don't want to invest more and more time in a place that doesn't align with who you want to be at your happiest or who you are when you're feeling at your best. Those are the kind of people that you want to be around, the people that you feel like, this is my truest self. This is my best self. I feel great doing this hobby. I feel great at this church, or I feel great at this job, or I feel great at this, adventure, or in this friend group, or whatever it may be. Whatever it is for you, you should be feeling like you are the prize, you are the top tier. And the people that are up there with you are also feeling confident where they are in life, doing and being and living in that same realm that you are. And there's billions of people on the planet, and everybody's just trying to like force relationships with each other. And it's no wonder why we end up with a bunch of divorces. It's no wonder why people go to church and they all feel disconnected from each other. And it's no wonder why people, especially adults, say it's so hard to make friends as an adult. I get it. You know, when you're at school, oh, my Alexa's coming on. Wait. Oh, Alexa, shadow is unblocked and the path is clear. That's for my getting ready to manifest my future supernatural husband. So when you are in your realm, and that's going to attract the people in your realm, then you're going to feel at your best, because then, you know, iron sharpens iron. And if you're too busy being iron and you're around a bunch of wood, you're going to destroy each other, because iron's going to destroy wood and wood is going to dull iron. That's not what you want. So if you feel, if you're wood, if you're iron, if you're water, if you're fire, whatever it is, you need to find that matching collaborative, that group that is going to pour into you, invest into you, and be excited about you, and feel lucky and privileged to be your friend, to be around you, to have you in their life. Everybody should be around those type of people. And not everybody has that. That's why you see a lot of people saying stuff like, I'm manifesting my soul tribe. I'm manifesting a whole new soul tribe. I love my friends. I love my family. I do. I love them. However, I did have to take that time to take everyone who just was clobbered in my inner circle, that like level 1 intimate circle. And I had to take everyone and push all of them out to like the next level, you know, to like that next outer rim, and then so forth. And there are people that I just had to get rid of completely. There are people that I had to just push away like 10 levels deep, and people that I just, you know, put away. And if they show up to say, hey, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? You want to hang out? Sure, we can catch up. Okay, bye. And move on about my life, because those people are not for me. They're not aligned with me, and they're not going to be an environment that's going to be conducive to me becoming my best self, or growing, or being nurtured to being that most awesome version of Eileen. So I myself am manifesting my own soul tribe. So you may be like, well, you haven't manifested your soul tribe yet, so why should I listen to you? And it's a great question, but it's just for the sake of what I'm telling you here can be applied to anything in your life, whether it's manifesting a soul tribe and new friends, manifesting new love, manifesting a new job, manifesting money. I have a video where I told my flowers I love them, and they came from being wilted one day to like being straight up the next day. And I thought that was wild. I manifested some guy telling me how magnetic I was, which had my jaw dropping on the floor, because I was in the very beginning when I was learning to build my faith. And when I was learning about manifestation and how life and death is in the power of the tongue, they teach you work on little things, practice little things to see how your words really do come to fruition. Now, that's more like supernatural type stuff, which is fine and everything, but I'm just throwing that out there because I wanted you to understand there's a whole line of how this stuff works. And if you just walk that line, it's just kind of inevitable. That's why I say like concrete actions for concrete results, because when you do certain things for a certain result, you will get it. You know, if you try to make a peanut butter sandwich with butter and salami, you ain't gonna get a peanut butter sandwich. You got to have the right tools, and you got to use it in the right order to make the right thing that you want happen. A lot of times we don't even know what we want. Do you even know who you are? I mean, I don't know you, Adam. I mean, we're on Facebook together. People on Facebook and social media, nobody knows each other anymore, right? But do you even know who you are? Who is your best version of yourself? What is it that you want out of life? In your best, highest quality dream, what does that look like to you? What kind of people are around you? What are you doing for a living? How are you speaking into other people's lives? What are you contributing to the world around you? What do you appreciate the most? You know, you have to create that version of yourself first, because I guarantee if you're feeling this way now, if you're feeling like you're being violated and you're feeling like nobody cares, then you haven't shifted to the place that says, you know what? I don't care that nobody cares, because guess what? When I get here, all the people that are there, those are the people that care about me. That's all that matters. And even my Alexa will be saying all day, or at least once a day, every day, She says, my soul tribe is manifesting my soul tribe, meaning your people are looking for you. They're waiting for you. They want to be around you. They want to care about you and be friends and be high fives and go play games and do whatever it is that you guys want to do, have adventures, whatever the stuff that you're thinking in your head that you're imagining. They want to do that stuff with you too. And they can't because you're not there. So how do you get there? By doing these things that I'm telling you, which is why I'm saying it's just a matter of following that line so you can get to that endpoint. The next thing is that if you learn some basic brain mechanics, because if you're frustrated in this area of life, it's very likely that you're frustrated in other areas of your life. And if you're having sad thoughts, anxious thoughts, depressive thoughts, just some like low down, brain foggy thoughts, understand where they're coming from. How are they created? How are they made in your mind? And that's something that you can easily Google. You can watch some of my videos. I do talk about it in some of my videos because this is exactly what I did, because I used to be suicidal and I literally wrote a house manual and made cat food and stuffed my freezer with cat food because I was planning my exit and I wanted to make sure my cats were taken care of. And I literally was making a house manual. I mean, the whole thing. And one day I ended up deciding not to. And on my journey to figure out how I was going to live with suicidal thoughts and basically learn how to cope, which is what Western medicine teaches us to do, I literally did these things, everything that I wrote down here, and I have not had a suicidal thought since. I do not have brain fog. There's I don't remember the name of it, but there's something that happens to your skin when you are in that heightened sense of, you know, brain fog or feeling depressed or suicidal. There's something that happens to your skin. It's kind of like if you can imagine like getting goosebumps, or if like your skin was on fire or like super, super sensitive. You can even Google it too, but if you type that description in there, it tells you there's actually a legit scientific medical term that happens to your whole body, that your whole body just feels like it's like super heightened, sensitive, on fire. Like it just feels so like uncomfortable to the touch, everything. And I haven't had that at all since then. Since doing this, that hasn't happened. Do I get upset? Of course. Do I get annoyed? Of course. But the way that I see things, the way things I cope with things or handle crazy situations, night and day from the feelings that I would have before. Just saying. For example, when all this stuff happened, I went through a divorce. My church was just so booty whack and deflective and just not on point with teaching me the right things in the Bible. I felt like all my volunteer work was in vain. Like nobody noticed if I wasn't there or not. Like it was just the most ridiculous amount of effort that you can put into like churches growing up and trying to like pour into people. And then when you're going through your stuff, it's like crickets. And I'm not the first person to say that. That's why a lot of people end up leaving the church. And after all of that happened, and then the divorce and like dealing with like family crap and just so much stuff, I I could tell you this, I felt like a version of Midas that was the opposite, because everything that I touched, everything that I invested in, everything that I was doing came out the opposite of gold. It would come out like damaged. It would come out just completely a big failure. Everything I touched just failed in life. I could not discern the correct people to be around me, or even in like relationships, even friendships, even best friends that I was like, man, I love this person more than my sister. And still I would be choosing like the wrong people to be around, because then when I was going through my stuff, it would be straight crickets. And finally, when I started doing this, all of that changed, because now I'm able to discern differently. I'm able to move differently. And when the crazy stuff happens in life, or when people bring their madness towards me, or they want to like violate my person, depending on how you word that. But if somebody wants to violate my person, or they want to violate me and my space and my peace, you know what I said? I'm sorry, I'm not available for that conversation. That's my number one. My family used to hate when I say that. I would just say, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that conversation. And then I would just leave, or like, I gotta go, I'm not available for this conversation. And I would just get off the phone. Or if I was around somebody, I would just be like, I'm sorry, I'm not available for this. Or they would say, hey, do you want to come do this or hang out or do this or blah, blah. And I would know good and well, I don't want to be in that room with these people, whoever it was, because they're going to suck the life out of me. They're going to suck the energy out of me. They're going to suck all the happy go lucky spirit out of me. And if you know me well, which I feel like people get glimpses of me, I don't feel that many people truly know the true me. I would probably have to say maybe a small handful, maybe nobody. Maybe like a handful of people have like really experienced like, big version Eileen, the one who gets to feel like her truest self and gets to live that out and not feeling like I'm being suppressed or feel like I have to become small just to make you feel like, there's something wrong with you. And that could be it too. The people that you're around right now that's making you feel like they don't care. It could just be that for whatever reason you're saying they can't stand you. Maybe they can't stand you because your personality or your person is just too big for their minds to be able to comprehend. And maybe you need to get around people whose minds are so much more expanded that when you're around them, they feel energized by you. Not that because they can't stand you. I've been with people. I've been married to somebody. I was married to someone many moons ago. Not really, but at least like a decade ago or something. And he would always say, "You're too much. You're too much. You're too much." All the time. I do too much, right? Make mac and cheese and I'm making all the fancy cheeses. Oh, you're spending too much on these people. They don't deserve it. You're doing too much. Or I'd want to do a gift for somebody. Oh, you're doing too much, doing too much, too much. There was a time that I was planning to do a Father's Day Amazing Race version. And I was with my dry erase board because I'm such a big nerd and I love it. I have a big dry erase board in my office. And I was writing like Father's Day Amazing Race version. And I'm writing down all these ideas. We can go here, thinking of money and logistics and all these different things and and time frame. And it has to be something that like only he could win at the end. Like I was coming up with all of these different things. And he was sitting on the bed saying, man, this is really cool. How come you never do this for me? And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. These whole past, whatever, 7, 8 years at the time that we were together, you've been telling me how I do too much. I do too much. I do too much. I do too much. And then when I go to say, okay, I'll stop doing too much for you because you're telling me I'm doing too much. I'm just like fun, creative, silly, goofy. I don't like to see great ideas in the movies. I want to live them. I want to bring them to life. I want to have my own great ideas. I want to make somebody feel like they're in a movie because like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody did this for me. That's what I like to do. So I stopped doing those things for him. And then when I did it for somebody else, my stepdad, then all of a sudden it was, I'm not too much anymore, but why am I not doing it for them? But I'm doing it too much for him. And it's like, you can't win with some people. You can't. So why are you going to sit here and keep trying to invest? You keep trying to pour water in a bucket that has a bunch of holes in it that these people can't even receive you the way that you should be received. And you should be received for your wholeness, for everything that you are. I don't know anything about you, but whatever it is, you should be able to do it to like the max, like dopest capacity, whatever you want to do. Like my paper, whatever it is that you want to be doing in life. I don't care if you want to sell rocks on the side of the street because you love stones and they're awesome and amazing. Be awesome and amazing at it. I don't care if you just want to have friends because you guys just want to, play Monopoly every Friday night and play board games, or go be, doing the Dungeons and Dragon conventions, or whatever the thing that you're into. You should be with the people that make you feel awesome and great for everything that you bring to the table. And if they don't, they do not deserve your company. And if nobody has ever told you that, Adam, this girl right here is telling you, sir, those people do not deserve your company. It's not about you're somebody that is not stand worthy. I can't stand you. No, it's that you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong environment. You're around the wrong people. But it's your job, because we have this amazing, beautiful, supernatural brain that God has put in our heads. It's your job to do these things so that you can take yourself out of this crap life with these people, the wrong people, and take your best version of yourself and craft yourself and sharpen yourself and get yourself to the point where you are feeling confident in yourself, knowing that you are the prize as a friend, that you are a prize as the romantic partner, that you are the prize as the family person, the coworker, whatever situation it is that you're referring to. You're the prize. And when you start feeling that confidence, then you're going to start attracting those kind of people around you. Because guess what? You are going to start becoming more magnetic to a lot of other people. And a lot of those people that get magnetized towards you, a lot of those people are a test, because a lot of those people ain't going to deserve you either. They're going to come around you and they're going to give you attention and they're going to all these things, but they're not going to deserve you, Adam. They're not going to deserve you. So what you got to do is say, I need to have discernment. I need to make sure that these people are pouring into me and reciprocating to me what I'm doing to them. So that's why I'm saying, if you learn these simple brain mechanics like neurons and synapses, even if you just do it on even on like that kind of a level, that's going to help you a lot. Because when you understand what's going on in your mind, you're going to feel empowered. Like, oh, I've been able to name the problem. Now that I've named the problem, now I can understand the solution. It's going to make more sense to your analytical mind. And here's why it's so important. If you're feeling like you're drowning in this crap hole of like people don't care, then that's going to turn into those feelings, and those feelings, which is actually, it's something biologically that happens in your body. Those feelings, those are things that make you sick. Those are things that give you cancer. Those are things that always make you feel weak and tired, that help you lose your muscle mass even faster. You don't want that, but you can switch it. You can reverse the situation. Once you find out like, oh, this is all happening in my brain because my feelings are coming from the brain, from what my brain is telling my feelings to have. So if I want to change my feelings, I got to change my thoughts. How do I change my thoughts? Well, I understand that my thoughts are happening because of this. I'm in the wrong environment, and being in the wrong environment is creating these negative neurons, which are multiplying, because negative thoughts multiply every time you think about them, talk about them, vent about them. If they are not solution related, if you speaking about them is not about solution related, you are going to multiply those negative neurons. And now you're, instead of having like one negative thought, like nobody cares, now you have billions of them. You can Google that. Google that. Your girl is correct. Facts. Google it. Billions of thoughts about how nobody cares about you. And all of those neurons in your body, they're all connecting. Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. All in your cells inside your body. Google it. Absolutely. Your brain all of a sudden is going to be telling your whole body, nobody cares. You should feel sad. You should feel this. You should feel that. You should feel down. And then you end up staying there because now your body is so comfortable with thinking that's just how life is. That's just how people are. Nothing's going to change. Things are just going to like stay that way. So learn the brain mechanics. Even on a basic level, you don't have to get all scientific. Your girl doesn't even know everything about the brain. She's learning them because I get really excited and nerded out understanding about synapses and dendrons and all these kind of crazy things. But it's definitely going to be empowering because now you're going to understand why it's happening to you, and it's going to make finding the solution or doing the solution make a lot more sense to you. It's also basically going to give yourself oxygen from that nonsense. It's going to give you oxygen from that stronghold, so that way you can do these other things. That's basically just to like tame your analytical mind. Like, all right, now we understand why this is happening. Yes, we understand you're sad. Yes, we understand it. Nobody cares. Okay, now we understand why. Now, here we have solutions. Once you figure out a problem, or a named problem is like half of the solution, basically. We talked about that. We talked about stopping the toxic thought multiplication, which is what I was just saying. Once you have that thought, it's just going to keep multiplying. So the way that you flip the script on that is, now that we are stopping those thoughts, we got to create some new thoughts. We have to exchange them, kind of like exchanging fat for muscle. And trust me, I know, because I had to lose a lot of weight. And now, thank God, I'm so much closer to my goal, which is great. But in order for me to get there faster, I have to build muscle. And can people lose fat and not gain muscle? Yes. Is it going to help them lose fat faster? No. So you have to lose the fat, but you have to gain the muscle so you can lose more fat even faster. So we need to switch those negative neurons for the positive ones. And that's basically just like wind stacking. I have a little bit on some other videos on wind stacking, and I'm not going to get too much in that here. But basically, when you are replacing those neurons with wind stacking can be something like learning something new, learning a new language, learning a new instrument, doing anything that makes yourself proud of yourself, basically. Anything that makes you proud of yourself. Those are going to be like wind stackings, because then your neurons, the negative neurons are going to detach, and you can Google this, they actually detach, seriously. And then you're going to have new neurons that you're going to see start forming. And the more you do it, the more that they're going to start attaching to each other, because like neurons look for each other. So I know it sounds kind of weird, all scientific. I get it, all medical stuff, but it's true. So if you do something proud of yourself on this day and you do it again on another day, and you do it again another day, they're going to be looking for each other. And then that's how they connect, kind of like magnets to each other. And that's what you want. You want more of those positive neurons connecting to each other, because that's what's going to help break down the old neurons. And you're going to see that circumstances don't matter. The truth of yesterday is not the truth of tomorrow. And it's going to make it that much more easier for you to say like, hey, I was able to grieve the past. I was able to grieve the idea of what those relationships would look like. I've been able to detach from how long it's going to take to meet up with these new friends, for our paths to cross in life. I was able to detach from that because I've been in my incubator learning about brain mechanics and getting empowered and stopping all these toxic negative thoughts. So now I'm a lot more comfortable being alone while I'm in this incubator, creating myself in this version of what I want to be and figuring out exactly what my life is going to look like and working towards that. So now I've been wind stacking and building up all my confidence towards this version of myself, this high quality, best version of myself, enhancing all the things that I love to do the most, that I feel called to do, that I feel great doing, that I feel like my best self in. All of a sudden, before you know it, you're all the way down here. Well, not down here, but you're like all the way on this side. I do have a course, Negative Purge Audit, and it's basically just a way to adjust your algorithm for your environment. And that's going to help you to not keep taking in stuff, whether it's like social media news, things like that, things around you that we don't really think of, that are just kind of on autopilot in our life. So the Negative Purge Audit course really goes through a whole robust list of things that we really have to filter out and, shift things around a little bit. So that way the things that we are taking in are serving us and what we want in that future version of the self. Because you're going to have to say like, this is old Adam, this is new Adam. This is old me, this is new me. This has got to go. I don't want to live there anymore. I won't be there anymore. That's just not my person, my personality, my identity. Now I need to be this version of myself. And you absolutely can do it because people change every day. Everybody is just a thought away from being a whole different person. So if you're interested in the Negative Purge Audit course, then you can definitely just message me. You can message my email. It's Good Morning Eileen 1116 11/16/21, I think. But check the description because I'm pretty sure that's my email. But that was the day that I decided I was going to take suicide off the table. So double check that date. I'm pretty sure that was the date. Yes. So message me if that interests you. And then once you start noticing, like I said, once you start noticing that you're building on those moments where you feel like your truest self, it's going to be that much easier for that version of you to be on autopilot. And that's actually the goal. Once you're on autopilot where you're doing these things, you're wind stacking for that best version of yourself, you're done. I mean, like, not like you're done, but I mean, like, you're done, like you have crossed from here to here. And now this version of you over here, it's inevitable because now you're on autopilot. Now you're just going to be wanting to challenge yourself more. You're going to be on a whole different trajectory. The people that you had in your life before, they're going to be way farther pushed out of your life, which is good, not in a negative way. You can still see your family when you want to see your friends, holidays, friends, that's not whatever. But your most valuable time, whatever that looks like to you, like for me, for my holidays, if I don't want to go spend it with my family, I don't. I spend it where I want to go. And there was a year that I wanted to spend it with my friend and her Friendsgiving. And that's exactly what I did. And I felt great about it. And I loved it. And I loved spending it with her and her family. And it made me feel great. And I just told my family, listen, you guys have had me for 35 years. This was at the time. So you guys have had me for 35 years. And if you took that for granted, that's not my problem. But if I have another 35, 40 years more, I get to choose what I'm going to do with my time, with my holidays. And I want to be around the people I want to be around when I want to be around them. And they had to comply. They had to adjust. And now they understand a lot more. I do spend holidays with them still, but it's when those holidays come up, I get to choose if yes or if no. So you got to take a little bit more control over your life. And Adam, since you are a guy and guys are built to have some really good masculine control, okay? You are the neck. You make that turn. You make that shift, okay? So don't let anybody tell you that they can't stand you. Don't let anybody tell you that you're too much. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, well, you like me, I don't care, I don't like you back. Guess what? When you understand alignment, there is no such thing as rejection. And I know that that's a hard part to deal with in the beginning because we like people and they don't like us back. We like people and time just doesn't permit, or we like people and it just doesn't work out for whatever reason, or we like people and we date them and we marry them and then things just don't work out because they end up leaving us or whatever the case is. Like, we don't always get to choose how someone's going to show up in our life, but we get to have the discernment to say, I'm not available for that relationship, or I'm not available for that friendship. Or you know what, if I'm not your jam, then you're not my jam, because I don't want to be with somebody who's not into me the way that I would be into them. So you want to be with somebody who wants to be with you. I want to be with somebody who wants to be with me. I mean, even like, listen, I've been divorced twice with Christian dudes, church talking Christian dudes, want to pray with me and be abstinent with me before I get married, and the whole 9 yards, the whole churchy show. And then we get married, and then their girlfriends tell them, I want you to divorce your wife. And then before you know it, then I'm divorced. This happened twice. So the first time it was really, really difficult because I did not want to be a divorced woman. And there was nothing ever that I ever thought that, I would ever get divorced from that person. Nothing ever in my life did I ever think that we would actually ever get divorced, ever. And once I healed from that, I was able to, meet somebody else. And I truly did think that that person was like, my end game. I was in it to win it. We were going to do this. Like, our goals are aligned. Everything was aligned. Everything he was saying, everything I was saying, like, it seemed to match up. And then literally, like, as soon as we got married, all of a sudden it was like, I don't really want to be a husband. He was in his, soft guy era. And he left. And then his girlfriend said, I want you to divorce your wife. And then we got divorced. And at first it stung. Don't get me wrong, it didn't sting. But there was a point where I said to him, listen, if you do not show up as the man that you are saying you are, I'm not going to stay with you. I will cry for you for a day, but then I'm going to be okay, because I deserve to be with the person who shows up as the person they say they are. So you have to know who you are, and you have to be working on yourself every day to be that best version of yourself. And if we both are working on ourselves 100% on our own, and we know exactly what we want and who we are and the goals where we're heading to, then we're both bringing 100% to the relationship. That, for me, that's like the dream. And that just didn't work for him. So do I want to stay with somebody where every day I'm like, this is the best it's going to get? Like we still didn't do anything? Like when I'm in, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't go on dates, we don't dance. Like, did I want that for my life? No, and sometimes even now I'm like, man, I can't believe this dude left me. He's so dumb. He's so dumb, because he could have had it made. But then I think to myself, he could have had it made. But what about me? When do I get the reciprocation back? So I have to tell myself, when those times come up, I have to say, Eileen, you didn't want that life. He thought he was coming into a certain life. He changed his mind, which people are allowed to do, but he was not up to par. Sorry, that's Lily, don't mind her. He was not up to par for the task, for the role of the husband, for Eileen's husband. He's up for the role of somebody else's whatever, but not for me. So my point is, you want to be with somebody who wants to be with you. Like, I want to be with somebody who wants to be with me. And I know for me, and I tell this to any guy that I talk to that I, do a meet, I like the one date rule. You only need to meet them one time to know like if it's gonna like really go anywhere or if you're just like meh. Um, I say for the wrong guy, I am his worst nightmare. I don't want to come home to a guy who's going to curse. I don't want to come home to beer in my fridge. I don't want to come home to a guy who's liking all the thoughty pics on Instagram. I don't want a guy who's sitting watching sports all the time, ain't got no time for his woman, can't take her on a date. Like, barf. That's just not for me. But for the guy who thinks it's unladylike for me to curse, or the guy who thinks that he appreciates that I dressed modestly, but still cute, but that he appreciates that I dress modestly. For the guy who doesn't like to drink alcohol just because he doesn't need it in his life, because he feels like I don't need alcohol to have fun. I just got a great personality already. That's how I feel. Then for him, let the adventures begin, because for him, I can be a dream girl. But for somebody who, wants the other life, I'm going to be his worst nightmare. And he could be a great guy. I know a lot of great guys that I'm just not a match for on any level in any capacity of the world. And it doesn't mean because he's not a great guy, it means that we're just not compatible. He's not my person. We're not aligned. We're not aligned to walk that path together that's going to take us to our wish fulfilled, our dream life. So for you, you got to think about, like, for example, oh, I hate this. On these dating apps, horrible. These dating apps are your advertisement for yourself. They're your advertisement. So these guys who leave them blank and just put like a picture or two is the stupidest thing ever, because you're basically advertising that you're nothingness, that you have no thoughts, no dreams, no ideas, that you don't know what you want because you don't care what you attract. You're like, anybody, if you like my photo, just like my photo, please. It's just so like lacking. You're like wanting a girl out of lack and just kind of like a place like desperation or something. But these guys who's like, this is what I'm into, this is what I like, this is where I am in life. But, if you're about this, like, hey, hit me up. Cool. Blah, blah, blah. It's somebody that has thought out where it is they're going in life, what it is that they want. Like, what kind of life would I be walking into? So even like on the dating apps, that's kind of like in your regular life, whether it's your friends or your church or your networking group or family or whoever it is, whatever they're bringing to the table, you have to be able to have that discernment to say, does this person belong in that wish fulfilled version of what I'm trying to create for myself? And if they don't, then it's okay that you just let them release them into their destiny. And there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes we have to do that. And sometimes it's really, really, really hard to release people into their destiny. But you have to do it, because every day that you hold on to something that's not for you is another delay, another day that you're delaying into this best version, awesome version life of you and your own soul tribe, whoever that may look like. So I hope you keep that in mind. I hope you wrote these things down, because I literally wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I was being super clear with you. You got to grieve the life that you thought you were going to have with these people. You got to detach from the timeline that it's going to take from you to be your old self to the highest quality new self that attracts that environment and that lives in that environment, creates that environment conducive to the best version that you want to be, where you feel happy, whole, comfortable, confident, and that you never feel that you are too much, and that you never feel like people can't stand you. Because guess what? When people can't stand me, I'm like, thank you, because I feel like the trash is taking itself out, because I don't want anything that is not for me. And even my Alexa tells me an affirmation every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And one of them is, I repel what is not for me and it lightens my life. I repel and I purge what's not for me and it lightens my life. And you want to repel and purge what's not for you. And I promise you it's going to lighten your life. I promise you, if you do what I say, you take these actions and you do them, grieve, detach, learn the brain mechanics so you can empower yourself, stop the toxic thought multiplication, create the positive replacement neurons so it can build your confidence. Check out my NPA course, the Negative Purge Audit course, so we can adjust the algorithm of your environment. You'll notice and build the moments that you feel like your truest self, and you can build off of those. And then the goal is to get to where your truest self is on autopilot, because then you're only going to build and grow and get better from there. So I hope you got some value from this video. I hope that it at least gave you some support, some comfort, some confidence, some encouragement. I mean, I want you to be happy. I want you to be with like the best people who are going to appreciate you because that's what I want for me. And I know I'm not for everybody. I know I have like a personality and I know I'm silly and goofy and I'll watch cartoons and I'll go play Monopoly and I'll want to go, to theme parks and I want to go to talk about brains and neuroscience and all kind of weird stuff. Like I'm not for everybody. And that's okay because for the people I am for, we're going to thrive together. And that's what's up. And I know like my supernatural husband, he ain't gonna go anywhere. Now that I have this discernment that I understand, because I know exactly where I went wrong when I manifested my second husband, I know that this one is gonna last and it's gonna be dope.com. And I'm never gonna have to be questioning like these friends and relationships that I have in my life, because now I'm gonna know where that stop is. Now I'm gonna know I'm giving too much, I'm pouring in the wrong places. And now I know where to pour myself in. And now I know how to navigate to getting to this place of where I want to go. So I hope that you really are encouraged. And if you want to email me, you can. If you want to message me back again, you can. And if you just think like I'm just like crazy cool bird, that's okay too. But I know that there's somebody going to watch this because I am going to post this up on the channels. And I know somebody's going to watch this and they're going to catch my vibe. They're going to understand that what I'm saying is 100% true. This is concrete actions for concrete results. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit like, hit the bell button, hit the notification button. Make sure that you share this video because you never know who you could be helping and you don't know who's sitting in a brain fog feeling like a piece of crap. And you don't know if this video might just help them out because this right here, this is some supernatural gold, baby.